Welcome to Street Talk. I'm your host, Loretta Rose. Today, we're on location at a fantastic show. We are here at the magnificent Troy University Riverfront campus. I got a great group of men that is going to bless your heart. Stay tuned. You're watching it here on Cable TV. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's show. Today's show is about men and success. Ladies and gentlemen, I am so excited about the men today on the panel. These guys are impacting their communities and lives beyond you can ever imagine. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I'm going to introduce our guests. We have Dr. Griff Gordy with Gordy Eye Care, which is in Phoenix City. And let me tell you how I got to know this man. I was at a Empowerment magazine,
right.
Cicely's launch, and you were one of the honorees. And when he got up and spoke, I said, "There's a homeboy." And I said, "I have got to interview him." And this is the timing. And what is so unique is that all of the guys on today's show were former athletes. So, Dr. Gordy, let us know how long you've been here as an optometrist.
I've been here as an optometrist since 2007. I moved back to Phoenix City, but born and raised here. You know, this is my hometown. I love Phoenix City, Alabama. I love this region, the Chattahoochee region, and my dream was always to come back and help this community, you know, however I could. But I moved back to Phoenix City in 2007 and opened Gordy Eye Care. So going on 12 years, I've been back in the community.
Wow, and people love you.
Well, thank you.
Wow, people love you. And let us know where that's located.
Gordy Eye Care is on River Chase Drive. It's in between, there's two apartment complexes. Over there, it's in between those apartment complexes in an office park called River Chase Center.
Down the street from Publix in
That's
Phoenix
right,
City.
down the street.
We only have one over here in Phoenix City. Okay, we're going to get ready to introduce these other men, and they are a unit. Sports Vision. Many of you have heard of Sports Visions. Yes, we have the one and only DJ Jones and Dale Williams. These men are just phenomenal. Again, like I say, former athletes as well. Welcome to the show, guys.
Glad to be here.
Y'all are such a blessing too. This has been a long time coming. I've been wanting to have this day ever since the first time I met you guys in the radio studio. Remember?
Right.
So these guys not only have a television show, they have a radio show and magazine, and host many, many athletic events that they put on. Remember when Nick Saban was here? These are the guys that brought him. Welcome to the show again, guys.
Glad to be here.
I'm so proud of you guys, too. And the thing is, all of you guys right here in this local community.
Right here.
Wow. So, DJ, let us know where because many have heard your story, but there's others out there that have heard of Sports Vision, but they really don't know the men behind Sports Vision.
Absolutely. We're homegrown. Dale and I, people don't know this, but we actually grew up next door to each other. Probably my house or my front door was about 10 yards from his in University Estates over in Columbus. And, we started a childhood friendship that ended up being, a lifetime. And obviously, it transitioned into our career that we have now with Sports Vision. 15 years going now here since we've started. But it's been an incredible ride. But the thing that I love about what we're able to do is because we were able to pour back into the community because somebody poured into us.
Ooh.
A lot of people, a lot of hands on us, a lot of hands in our village, a lot of people. And like I said, Dale and I both, we played the game at just about every level. And, we've been exposed to some of the best of the best. And all we do is just take some things that we learned and liked along the way and just implement them here. And we're not recreating the wheel, we're just having fun.
Wow, 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 wow. You're going to be engaged as well. You're going to learn a lot today from these gentlemen. Dale.
Yes.
Wow. Y'all, Sports Vision is like your baby. It's been
right.
15 years. Wow, that's amazing. So,
You know, you gotta go back to when, like DJ said, you know, when we, grew up. DJ was 9, I was 11, and, we talked about sports every day under
Wow.
the street light. And we didn't know we were birthing Sports Vision then, but, time went on and went on again. And, we both got into business fields, played ball again. But I think one of the biggest things that created Sports Vision was, like DJ said, from the beginning, we were talking sports, and we continue to talk sports. Now it just came full circle, and what we actually were talking and speaking to existence, we have Sports Vision.
wow, wow. And all three of you have that sport thing in common. Isn't that's amazing? And I didn't realize that until they were all booked at the same time. I was like, this is awesome. Wow. Well, we're gonna take a quick break, and then we're gonna come in. We're gonna talk to you about did you ever think you would be at this point? And because somebody out there may be watching and they admire you, and they may wonder, how did you get from where you were to where you are? You guys are going to inspire them. You're watching Street Talk with Loretta Rose. We're here at Troy University Riverfront campus. Thank you so much for watching. You're watching here on cable TV.
Hello everybody, we're your hometown sports guys. I'm DJ Jones.
And I'm Dale Williams.
We'll be covering local high school football action.
Auburn, Alabama, Georgia, and a whole lot more.
So join us on Channel 7 and watch us on YouTube.
Sports Vision on Channel 7.
I'm having a great discussion with these gentlemen, and we're realizing more and more how much they all have in common. They all were quarterbacks. It's amazing. So, Dr. Gordy, you are a Central High alumni.
Right.
And because they were making noise at that magazine, Go Red Devils. And you always said that you aspire to give back to the community that you live in, and you grew up in Phoenix City. Did you ever think as a little boy that you would be serving in this capacity in your community?
No, I really never did. As we were talking, I grew up wanting to be a baseball player. I grew up wanting to be a Major League Baseball player, and that was my dream for years and years and years. Even as I played football and baseball in high school, I always loved baseball and wanted to, play professional sports. I think that's a lot of kids' dreams growing up, and so the older I got, all my friends kept getting taller, and I didn't grow very much. And so size-wise, I was held back a little bit. So, I got to college, I played baseball in college, and I started realizing that might be about it for me, from that standpoint. And from that point forward, I knew I always wanted to help people. I always wanted to be in an area where I could help others. And I always, the healthcare field was something that I really enjoyed. And I happened to get a job with an optometrist in Montgomery as I was in college. And so I was exposed to that field and just fell in love, with that field. And that's kind of what pushed me in that direction to become an optometrist.
Wow, that's amazing. And that's something for people to get. Someone afforded you an opportunity to be able to kind of dip into that. That's amazing. That's a blessing.
For sure.
That is a blessing. And now you're very successful. You have so many patients, I heard. And we appreciate your time today because he is here on his lunch break and has to get back afterwards for patients. But it shows how your heart is about serving others. And that, who was that man, though, that gave you that chance?
The man that I got a job from was an optometrist in LensCrafters. His name was Chuck Goodman, and we still talk to this day because I knew that he did open up and he did everything he could to, when I had questions or he realized I was interested, he was there for me. And you don't always experience that. You have good experiences, you have bad experiences, and so I am definitely grateful, for the opportunity that he gave me because it created that path. I feel like with everything, God's timing is God's timing, and we don't know anything about it, but there's no question. I feel like God put him in that place in my life because that's the path that he wanted me, to go down.
That is such a blessing. God bless him for affording you that opportunity. Now, Dale and DJ, you both love sports. You went off to college. You all had separate careers. How did you come back and begin to just birth forth Sports Vision?
Well, you know, basically, like I said, we went out to college. DJ was in NFL, still in college. We both kind of still were hooked up in Atlanta, Georgia. When we tell everybody that we grew up in Atlanta from an adult standpoint. But I think really the biggest thing that we've always maintained our relationship. Mm-hmm. We've always had community involvement because basically everybody asks, well, why y'all do this and why you do that? 'Cause somebody did it for us. I mean, for us, the luncheons, the special event piece of the Sports Vision piece, that all came from community involvement. From that team mom that we had out at Edgewood, or the booster clubs at a Hardaway High School or at a Carver High School. All those things were, just embedded in us, and we continue wanting to do more of that. And then at the same time, being involved in sports, big, real big. You will always hear us talk about relationships, but really, even if you're not good, get involved in sports because there's a lot of good intangibles that you get from sports.
Oh, yes. You guys are teaching me. You guys are teaching me a lot because when I've been at your events, I said these guys going beyond sports. You are changing lives. You're teaching people about finances, about integrity, like this conference you all just were a part of last week. You're teaching them about leadership. And these are things that our younger generation really needs to get a hold of because that's how you guys became successful, like you are. And I think that's pretty amazing.
Yeah, and I'll throw this in there, and I think you guys will agree, is the things that I learned, growing up as a kid, I learned more from sports than I did from anything else because the team aspect, you learn to work well with others, you learn to encourage one another, you learn that you can't do things on your own, but also the commitment, the dedication. I mean, there's so many things that growing up, that when you get involved with something like sports, you don't realize it at that moment. Yeah. But when you get older and you start looking back, you're like, man, the hard work I put in on that baseball field or football field really paid off more so when I got older because I realized what I had to do to be successful, later on in life.
It's like you learn a principle
That's
too.
Right, for sure.
Wow. And see, you're teaching me something because I wasn't in sports. See, when I was in high school, I was a dancer. I loved to dance. And so, but now my son, he's into sports now. Thank God for Sports Vision. They inspired my son, but my son always desired, he would watch all the games and always desired it, but he got a little push when he went to one of their luncheons and then just seeing that sportsmanship. And that's a lot. Now, I want to help because we probably got some ladies out there watching. Dr. Gordy, you're married. Let us know about your wife and your family.
My wife is Jennifer. She's here in the audience, and I have 3 kids. Evan, who's 9 years old, and then Lucas and Noah, who are twins,
Okay.
who are 5 years old. And I met Jennifer when I was in Montgomery as an optometrist. Right out of optometry school, and then she moved back to Phoenix City with me. And when we first opened Gordy Eye Care, it's an interesting story because it was just me and her. Mm-hmm. And so it's a challenge as husband and wife to work together, especially when you're the only 2 people there. There's some long days, but you learn to work through that. And those were days when we were seeing 2 or 3 patients a day. And and you work through that. And she was a big part of that, and she helped me to build Gordy Eye Care, and now we have a family with 3 young boys, and one of the hardest things I've learned is parenting is not easy. It's wow. Difficult, but you learn something from your kids every single day.
Absolutely, they are beautiful, and I do understand how that is because my husband and I, we're in business, and it is it's a great partnership because I couldn't imagine doing it without him. But we always have to pray for God to give us that balance.
That's right.
So I do get that. I understand that. And it's such a blessing to have that support system as well. But I was asking because I know I have a lot of people that watch the shows. And you all are very nice, professional, and nice-looking men, but I want them to know you're occupied. So, DJ, let us know, how, married or
I'm
single?
single. I'm single.
Okay.
And, but I tell you what, I have my hands full. But I just want to first of all give you, I want to thank you for allowing us this platform. Because again, a lot of people know our glory, but they don't know our story.
Uh-huh.
And we make it look like, it's, you see the television, you see the radio, hear the radio, you see the magazine, the events, you hear about the Nick Sabans and the Dabo Sweeneys and the Kirby Smarts, and all of that stuff is wonderful, and we really appreciate it. We are blessed.
Yes.
We are blessed, more than you ever can imagine. But I have to give most of the credit to my mom and dad. Obviously, they did a great job. My mom is here with us.
Yes.
Her name is Betty Jones. My late father passed 2 years ago. But my dad, Dale can attest to this, is that he was not only a wonderful man. He was just a leader. He was a father to the kids that didn't have a father. And I watched he and my mom as I was a young kid grow up. My mom was a secretary at one of the elementary schools. I think it was Fifth Avenue, and my dad was a brick mason. And I saw in front of me, I know I had the love of sports and I was talented, however, but I saw how they worked, how they grind. Mm-hmm. And of course, my mom and dad both ended up retiring civil service from Fort Benning. My dad was one of the highest ranking civilians on the base. My mom she was right up there too as a financial analyst. But I saw that, and so I saw that work ethic. I saw that the networks that they had. I saw what they put into it. So again, the sports was easy. But understanding the respect, the discipline, the focus, that was big with me. And again, growing up in a small community, Buena Vista Estates was a very, very wonderful thing because I was the only child. But I didn't know that because again, as Dale was my next door neighbor, and then our community was if we weren't out in the yard playing 95% of the time, the other times we were in school or at the Y or playing sports in our respective little leagues.
Yes.
But it's just incredible. I want people to understand and know that family for me was very important. And again, everything that you see that I do, that I'm a part of, obviously it was embedded in me by my parents.
Absolutely, and that's such a blessing. And she is here, and she may have a few words a little later to share with DJ. Dale, how about you?
Basically my background is similar to DJ, and when it comes back to sports vision and success, even from his father's standpoint, he was a surrogate father to me. When I was playing Little League, he actually caught me. We would practice pitching, he was my catcher, and boom, everything I learned how to throw, I taught DJ how to throw, and I caught DJ. So it was a family tree, but it was much more than just, people look at us as peanut butter and jelly, and just what we basically for as brothers.
Yeah.
When I'm out, first time somebody's gonna see me, they're gonna say, well, where's DJ? And when DJ's out, they ask about Dale. But we've had, there's no sports vision without the both of us.
Yeah.
And I think really that is something that I would continue to cherish. But if you gotta tell a story, if you gotta make a movie about it, it started the way that we grew up, talking about sports, playing sports. We don't talk every day. We don't have to talk every day. But really when we do talk, we're talking about business, we're talking about being successful, talking about helping someone. And that's the biggest thing about it. And again, it goes back to sports. You just want to be good at what you
Right.
do. We got great work ethic.
Yes.
We are rooted and grounded in this community.
Yes.
We know people. We're very resourceful. And we always talk about, and I always say this, that 1 + 1 is greater than 2. We bring our resources to the table, our network to the table,
Yeah.
and people don't realize it's just me and DJ with Sports Vision.
Wow.
But at the same
You
time,
do make it look easy.
well, but it's definitely, and we have our days. We ain't all about kumbaya and being nice. When we go in, but we're
Yeah.
going in being successful and want to do good at whatever we do.
I'm gonna ask another question, but I want to make sure Dale is married.
Yeah.
Daughter.
That's right.
I want to make sure, because Tammy,
Yeah.
she may be watching. I want to make sure.
Yeah.
But I want you guys to see that how men can be professional, have a balance, be married and how they can present themselves as men, gentlemen. That's why they're on today, so that people can see what manship looks like, you know. This is what it is. And they're about serving others. They're about family. One thing about Sports Vision, I don't think people know, you all are, Atlanta? Did I hear ESPN?
Yes, we started 15 years of Teddy. It's a lot of different networks that we've been a part of, but we've, we are not scared. We go after it if it's out there for us, and we tried our hand. We were in the Birmingham market for several years. We've also been in the Atlanta market for several years. But those of you who know this business, you know it's very expensive. And, we had a great run in both places, but still grounded and based out of Columbus, Georgia.
Yeah.
But again, people thought that we were crazy when we thought about when we started this business. And again, a lot of people still look at us 15 years later and they shake their heads. We walk into the press boxes of these venues around America, and most of us go in we work as an employee of a network. But you don't go in as owners of your own company. Mm-hmm. And when you see two African Americans, and then obviously we go in about our business, and we don't care, and we don't worry about what we can't control. We don't worry about what we don't have.
That's good.
But we have access from the Masters to the Super Bowl,
Wow.
and everything
Yes.
in between. And we're just blessed to have that opportunity. And again, like I said, I thank you for this opportunity to share
Yeah.
with everybody, because people just don't know
They don't.
what
Yeah.
some of the things that we go through. Is if everything roses? No. Do we always get what we want? No, we don't. But again, the sports that we play, we understand how to deal with adversity. We know how to make decisions, in the spur of the moment. We're not afraid to fail.
Yeah.
And if we fail, we just get up, brush ourselves off, and keep it moving. And that has a lot to do with, again, our upbringing, the fact that we encourage our parents to let your kids play team sports, because again,
That's good right there.
being able to handle adversity, being able to, you don't win all the time, but
Yeah.
handling it, how do you handle that?
That's good.
And that's the humbling part about this.
That's a life skill, learning how to handle it. How do you deal with that? That say a lot, because see, like I said, I never did sport, but I imagine how you deal with the game will reflect how you deal off. I imagine you just gave me a whole nother view, Now, I want to help someone that's watching, because someone may be watching, may have had a dream, and may have aspired to do something. And did you deal with that too when you first started? People probably didn't think that you would make it or be successful. Because I want to help people to understand it's not what they say.
Right.
You know.
Well, and I guess for sure there was people that didn't think that I could become a doctor and open my own business, but to be honest with you, I probably never heard it, or maybe I just didn't pay attention to it. Mm-hmm. But I think a lot of that had to do with the fact that growing up, just like DJ and Dale have talked about, playing sports my whole life, I've been hit many times. Losses, adversity. I mean, there's so many different things that you deal with, but you learn to you're either going to back yourself into a corner and you're going to get beat, or you're going to fight yourself out, and that's one of those things that, today's generation, unfortunately, you see a lot of kids that don't want to do that. They want to be great, but they don't want to put in the work, and they don't want to deal with the adversity that comes with the days that you're not so great. And but that's what the sports taught me. Is that people are going to doubt you. To me, that's motivation. It inspires you to do better, because you want your doubters to say, well, you know what, I was wrong.
That's right.
And so I think I did have people that probably felt that way, but ultimately my eyes were just on doing what I could to get back to my community, and just like Dale and DJ talked about, pouring back into the community that was so good to me when I was growing up.
That's a blessing. Oh, wow. Please, can we clap on that? We do have a live audience here today. Oh, that is awesome.
And basically, just to piggyback on that, really the things that we set out to do, I think really when we started Sports Vision 15 years ago, I came to DJ. I was working actually in media and marketing for a church, community church here. And I just, I was told by the pastor that we need to do a television show. So I did my due diligence and did my work, And, you know, just, I got a vision of like, And DJ at the time, he was doing the sports anchoring for WRBL, TV3 here. And I said, DJ, I called him up one night because I was basically critiquing him every night. And I used to always say, DJ, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, that's not enough time to do no sports, man. So we basically talked, and I did my due diligence again for us going out. What does it take to do a TV show? You know, found out, I'm like, okay, gotta get some sponsors. You know, that was my biggest thing. We gotta get some sponsors. I looked at places and I thought about sponsors. And I asked DJ one night, I said, DJ, I said, if I can go get some sponsors, man, would you co-host a sports show with me? And DJ said, didn't even think about it. He said, yeah.
Wow, praise God.
And that's where
Now-
we got started. And people don't know this. We started Sports Vision and we didn't even have a camera. We didn't have a sponsor. Our first sponsor was
Wow.
Smoky Bones. And we've been running ever since. But
Praise
the thing
God.
I want to share with people is that you got to take all your experiences that you've done from being a staffer for a congressman, for working for liquor companies, being in sales. It all comes to fruition in the sense that you're developing something that you don't even know. We didn't know when we were little boys talking about sports all the time that we were even thinking about and starting a TV show. And at the same time, you know, we have one of the best TV shows in the country. I'm not
Yes,
ashamed
yes,
to say.
it's global, yes.
It's just a matter of taking all your experiences, developing something that you really want to do with some passion, because you got to have some passion.
Yeah.
Just find out what your passion is. You don't have to be good in sports. Whatever you're doing, just go at it real hard, do it with some passion, and you're going to create something out of it.
Just to take a little bit more and take to a little step further. You know, Dale and I, obviously, yes, we grew up together, but the same thing. This is the God in it. You know, we made our transition. Obviously, we left college, and Dale ended up. He had an opportunity to play in the United States Football League. I got drafted and played for the Green Bay Packers and the Denver Broncos. However, Dale went started a political career. He worked, as you mentioned before, but you know, from my job, I had to get a real job. Obviously, I played several years in the NFL, but again, the money wasn't like it is today. All right, so I had to go to work, and if I didn't get out, if we didn't get our education, we wouldn't be here right now, because we were able to tasks that we face are just tremendous. And again, us collaborating, I tell you, we have a tremendous time doing that, and we really enjoy it. However, I say that to say this: my experience as believe it or not, Griff, I sold surgical instrumentation, my first real job, when I got done playing football. And from there, I went to work for a sports marketing company. You might have known it, Mizuno. I was a national promotions manager. And see, these are the things that people don't know. They just look and see us on television. They see all the highlights, but you don't understand the grind and the work that's been put in. You know, several jobs. From there, I went to work for a major sports marketing company in New York City. I'll tell you, man, just it's nothing like the big lights and the bright lights and the big buildings. But anyway, from there, again, I came back home in '97. Got involved with sports talk radio with a guy by the name of Mike V. And we had a heck of a show, and we did a lot of wonderful things in this city back in 1997 as we started our show, the DJ and V, Mike V and DJ Jones show. Now, from there, the local television general manager of WRBL was a big fan of our radio show, and again, he liked the energy, just like somewhat like what Dale and I have. You have to have energy, and that energy is brought about because we're passionate about what we do, and we're excited about talking about our experiences and talking about sports. And long story short, WRBL hired me, and I was doing radio earlier in the mornings, and then I was doing the 5, 6, and 11 o'clock news for WRBL weekdays. And again, it started there, and I think the next job from there was the first arena football team that came to Columbus, Georgia, was the Columbus War Dogs. And Ed Randall, the owner at that time, and Mike Salmon was the president. They brought me on board as the VP of operations based on my experiences in sports and in, of course, promotions and marketing. And again, all of that stuff, it's what makes Sports Vision what it is now. It takes 4 or 5 opportunities with 4 or 5 different companies, and then, but for us to come back together, it was God that brought us together. And
Wonderful.
15 years later, man, we are here.
Wow.
We've done a lot, but we got a whole lot more to do.
Wow. So there, I do believe that saying, if you follow your passion, it will lead you to your purpose. And that's what has happened with each one of you. Wow. We're going to take a break. We want to thank Dunkin' Donuts. They're always sponsoring our on-location shows here at Troy University. And thank you, Dr. White, for allowing us to come in and do this show. You're watching Street Talk with some great men that are successful. You're watching it here on cable TV. Welcome back. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's show. We're having a great table talk conversation with some great, powerful, successful men here in our community. Also, we want to thank those that are in our audience that are here supporting the guys and supporting the show today. I will say on behalf of DJ Jones' mother, she is super proud of him. And that's something we have in common. We are only child, and I didn't realize that until today. But she is so proud of him, and you can just see it in her face. Also, we have another guest in the studio, Mr. Matt Gardner, and he happens to be Dr. Gordy's best friend. And I wanted to know, Dr. Gordy, your best friend, Matt, what can you tell us about Dr. Gordy, or how has he inspired you? Because from my understanding, y'all grew up together.
Yeah, that's right, we did. Before I can answer that, I just want to thank you guys for what you do. All three panelists, congratulations on your success. And, there's never enough, male role models to provide inspiration to our youth in any community. So I think anytime you hear your three names, one of the first words that comes to mind is service. And just kudos to what you guys do, and thank you. Yeah, when you get a call and they're like, hey, Dr. Gordy's going to be a panelist on this television show, and we thought of you as somebody that could come and speak on his behalf and talk about how he's inspired you. You take that very seriously, and it's a great honor. So absolutely, that's why I'm here today. How has Dr. Gordy inspired me? I think in a few months it'll be 18 years since he stood beside me at my wedding as my best man. My 13-year-old son is named Griff. So there's a lot of things along the last 40 years that I could probably highlight as how he's inspired me. I'll keep it short and simple. Loretta and I spoke this morning, and I think, after a 30-second conversation, she used the words, he's such a blessing. And that's at its fundamental, simplest form, that's exactly what he is. And, he's somebody who cares deeply about his family, his friends, his community. He's never been shy to help. It doesn't matter if it's a successful practice like it is now, or if it was just when it was him and Jennifer. He was always willing to help, and he helps anybody. Doesn't matter what color you are, how old you are. He's always there to help. Most recent ways he's inspired me is I've watched him. We used to have long conversations about him coming back to this area and opening his practice, and being able to watch him really grow that business and make it become what it is over the last 15 plus years. I think he really inspired me to take a leap of faith from a business perspective, and I invested in a technology-based startup a couple of years ago and became a part of that company, and last year started my own consulting business, and a large part of the reason for doing that is being able to watch Griff do what he does and the success he's had by taking a chance. All you guys know that going into business for yourself is a huge leap of faith. It requires a lot of inspiration, a lot of work, and I don't think anybody just wakes up saying, I know I can do this. You have to have inspiration along the way. And I'm just honored to be here and get to listen to all three of you guys. And so thanks for having me.
Well, we appreciate you. Let's give him a hand. We appreciate you. I asked your assistant that I wanted someone to share, if they could come and talk about what you mean to them and didn't know who it would be, but he called today. And when he was sharing about you, and I said, wow, what a blessing. And your son is named Griff?
Yeah, he is.
Wow, that's an honor. God bless you. That's an honor. That's an honor. Wow. So this is what servanthood is all about. You guys demonstrate that.
You know, like I said, all the experiences that we had growing up and going through sports and stuff and life in general, I think really helps us to be the people that we really are. I mean, really, as far as me being married and have a daughter and I have a son. My son's name is DJ.
Are you serious?
Just call him DJ.
Okay, yeah. Okay, that's right.
Yeah, but all our life experiences, it helps me to be
Wow.
a better father,
Yes.
a better husband. I mean, just going through things, because really, the way you start out doesn't mean the way you're going to end.
Yes, that's good.
And I really, but I think really I go back to those days very often, the way, and think about the way I was raised. You know, sometimes we worry about what we don't have, but even in the success and the experience of Sports Vision, we have definitely benefited from the things that we didn't have. And I mean, really, starting the show, didn't have a camera, worried about money. We'd rather go after something than worry about what we don't have. Because in the process of going after it, we always get to it anyway. So, you know, those things, the life lessons, the skills, make you a better person. It might be tough for somebody out there now,
Right.
but if you keep grinding,
Yeah,
you'll get closer.
right.
You know, to add to that, you know, and I say this a lot, and Dale and I, we both obviously over the past 15 years have had some tremendous highs and some tremendous lows, but at the same time, you know, we have something that obviously can't be taken away. 3 SEC championships rings that I have, as well as a national championship. Dale has a couple of SEC championships and, of course, a national championship. But, you know, I'm more proud of Sports Vision and what we've been able to do and create here to leave a legacy of helping people, helping our young student athletes and coaches, more so than those championships. And I know a lot of people might think I'm crazy when I say that, but it's just the truth because, you know, we built it from the ground up. Obviously, it was a team effort to win those championships with the University of Georgia, and I had the opportunity to win an AFC championship ring with the Denver Broncos. But I say all that to say this: there's some tremendous men and coaches that help mold us. Again, I can go back to Dale, our first coach, Mr. Robinson at the YMCA with the Carver Coach, and Tommy Drew at Edgewood. He was probably one of the most brilliant coaches that we've ever had. But I think about the Wallace Davises of the world and the lives that he touched. Not only did he touch mine, but hundreds of other young men. Again, I gave credit to my mom and dad, but again, the coaches in our lives. And to this day, Wallace Davis is my best friend. He was the best man in my wedding years ago. But to this day, I still have a conversation with him every week. But these coaches, guys,
Yes.
and I know that it's important for me to say this. You gotta understand. You spent more time with your coaches than you did with your family,
That's true.
and they were. So I have to give them credit, and that's why I want to take this opportunity to say that. Vince Dooley, Dan Reeves, Forrest Gregg. These are some people that help pour into me.
Yeah, and you guys, I don't know if you see it that way, but you're like a coach to others too as well now. I don't know if you see that or realize that, but that's how I see it. You're coaching others, young adults, youth and young adults.
Yeah, and I think really you have to be willing to be coached too. And that's, I think, the biggest difference now. Some kids are not willing to be coached. We were coaching all the guys that DJ named. These guys coach hard.
good, Dale.
For as passionate wise, it's the, sometimes I don't say things the right way, but I grew up around coaches that they didn't necessarily say it the right way,
That's right.
but the way you take it, there's a
Yeah.
lot of things, but they say it with some love.
That's right.
And I think really, when you can, as a parent, you can see your son or daughter being coached up probably differently than you would coach them up, let the coach coach.
Oh,
And I
wow.
think really, when you do that and take your hands off the situation,
Yeah.
me and DJ, we've been in some battles on the field, but one thing about it, his dad, he let the coach coach us.
Wow.
And when that parent has that opportunity, whether you got a 2-parent home or a 1-parent home, let the coach coach the kid. And I think really that needs to be said more and more, even in high school, Little League, especially Little League.
Okay.
Because again, the way you get coached in Little League, our best coaches were our Little League coaches. When we got to Georgia, what? We were already coached.
Yes.
We just had to get bigger, faster, and stronger. But we got coached very well, and I think that's one of the biggest things. It helps your success, whether you're gonna be a pro football player or not. That coach, that athletic coach, that Little League coach, he's gonna come to fruition if the things that he said, that's gonna happen.
Well, you know, as I listen to you, you know, someone probably watching and those that are here present today, what you just used that analogy, that's how life is. The things that we go through. It could be coaching us, teaching us, it's teachable lessons. And that just, you know, I just guess had an epiphany. you know, because that's what I just got out of that, because a lot of time, hard times, you get knocked down, you get kicked, and you don't want to get up. But in order to win, you got to get up and keep going. I hope someone get that, you know, because no matter what it is, if it's not in sports, but just the game of life, the game of life. That's what I get. What you got?
know, and as you know, one thing that I can tell you is, as a husband, as a father, as a friend, as a brother, I fail every day. I mean, I think that's one thing that some people don't. A lot of people don't want to hold themselves accountable. And you know, a lot of times we have to look at the things that we aren't doing right, and recognize that we're not doing them right to grow more as a person. And I think those are some of the times that you learn the most. You know, when you realize that you're doing things wrong. You know, you can be a successful business person, you can be a successful community leader, you're still gonna mess up. And you know, I think a big part of growing is understanding you're gonna mess up and being able to look in the mirror and say, "Hey, I messed up." You know, because there's not anybody on this walking this earth that's not gonna mess up. We're all gonna mess up.
Right.
And, I think that's one thing that you know I learn every single day. You know, from my mistakes, and you know, I tell my kids every single day, don't. You know, I know you love me and want to look up to me, but you know, I'm gonna fail you. I mean, as a dad, I'm gonna fail you. You know, I mean, it's part of life.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
but it's one of those things that you learn.
You
You
learn.
learn from, and you have to be able to learn to deal with those things
Yes.
to move forward for sure.
Wow. I know we're going to get ready to come to a close, but I'm going to let each gentleman speak from their heart. But before we do, I want to get a tip. Dr. Gordy, you are an optometrist. You know, we are in a time where some people don't, you know, we don't want to go to the doctor unless something happens, something wrong.
Right.
At what point should we, you know, children should start getting eye exam? I want to help somebody.
Yeah, children, you know, we try to talk to parents when we see them in the office. The children should definitely have their eyes examined as early as they can, because there's a lot of things that could be going on from a health standpoint with people's eyes that just aren't visible to the normal eye. You know, I mean, some of the tests that we do can detect early vision problems or early development problems. And so, you know, there's some states in the country that are state law that you have to have your kids' eyes examined before they start kindergarten, they start school. And so I always tell, when parents ask me that, I say, how old are they? And they'll be like 2 years old. I say, well, bring them in, you know, because we see a lot of kids. And one of the things that I enjoy is I enjoy seeing kids, but it helps the parents. I can talk to the parents and explain to them why they're here, why it's important. And so even if they come in and there's nothing wrong, at least the parents have that, they're at ease knowing, hey, you know, my kids, their vision's fine, their eyes fine, because at that age, you know, your vision is very important to your learning, you know, and so.
That's true.
So yeah, I'd say, you know, at any age, if you feel like there's any concern, have your kids checked, but especially before they start, you know, that school.
That's
age.
good. I just wanted to let it be known because, you know, sometimes it's just a lack of knowledge.
Yeah.
It's just, and so education is the key. Guys, before we close out, is there any other life's lesson tip you would like to share with someone that is out there that's probably, it's aspiring to be like you gentlemen, or want to be great? I want them to understand they can be great wherever they are. And it's a process.
Well, I think really the biggest thing is, again, you gotta have great work ethic, and you gotta have some passion. Find out what your passion is, go after it, work. Don't worry about what you don't have. Walk in faith, continue to do the things that you think you can do, and just don't worry about what you don't have.
Yeah.
If you see something and somebody doesn't believe in yourself.
Ooh, that's good.
Believe in yourself
That's
first,
good.
because really, whether it's sports, whether it's you want to be the best computer tech there is in the world, you want to create, go at it with some passion. But find out what your passion
That's
is and
good.
go for it.
That's good right there.
In
Yes.
my humble opinion, basically, obviously, knowing that, there's a higher power, of course, I give all the credit to Jesus Christ. And again, that relationship, my walk, I got my armor on. I don't worry about it. You got a lot of naysayers. A lot of people don't like you because you're successful. A lot of people might not like you because of, what side of the street you stay on. I mean, you can't control it. Don't worry about what you can't control. Have passion, as Dale said. Believe in yourself. And obviously, you have to know what you want to do, because again, there's a lot of people out there that get up every morning and don't like going to the job that they work at. We work, early in the morning, late at night. It's not a job. We're passionate. It's unbelievable. We're living a dream, and I like to say this: we're blessed and highly favored.
That's good. That's good.
And I'd like to, echo that. There's no greater victory than the victory we have in Jesus Christ, and the greatest decision I ever made was to follow Jesus Christ, of all the things I've done in my life. And so, to anybody that's watching, find that faith, because if you don't have that foundation, it's difficult for sure. There's things we go through in life that if you don't have that foundation to fall back on, it's extremely tough. For kids growing up, just work hard for sure. Everything's just not going to be handed to you, and I have 3 boys, and I watch them, and man, they just want everything handed to them, and it's tough. It's a difficult thing, but you want to see your kids get everything, but you want to see them, get it the right way. So there's nothing that can't be done. If you have something that you're passionate about and that you want to do, there's nobody in this world that can tell you can't do it. So work hard. Don't be afraid to fail. You're gonna have failures. You're gonna have roadblocks. But don't let those things, stop you, because those things really will serve as opportunities for you to grow, And one thing I like to say is that when people talk to you, like, man, you're a leader, you're a community leader. The one thing that I've learned growing up, especially since I've been an adult and in the business and back at home, is a true leader is a servant. If you're not a servant, then in my eyes, you're not a true leader. And you see a lot of leaders that they lead. They don't necessarily lead by example. They want to lead in other ways, and for anybody that's watching, if you really want to be a true leader, you lead by serving others. And if you do that, then you'll be successful in whatever you're doing in life.
Wow. And that's why they're here today, because they are exactly what they're talking about and what they're out here serving about. And you guys have demonstrated the principle of what servant is all about. We salute you.
Thank you.
I want to just thank you guys for being on today. Wow. Well, you've heard it from them, the men's. These guys are phenomenal, and they're not just talking the talk. They're walking it. And they are sharing knowledge and wisdom that was passed down to them as well. And I pray that you be inspired. You will find your way, because I know this game of life, sometimes there are people out here just trying to find their way. But as it has been demonstrated today, find your passion. Make sure it's something that you love doing, and it will lead you to your purpose. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's show. We want to thank Troy University Riverfront Campus and Dunkin' Donuts. You have been watching Street Talk with Loretta Rose here on Cable TV.